Bhagavata Dharma Mahatmas understand our pathetic situation. They understand we are not dushtas, but we are brashtas. Dushta na wicked people, brashta na fallen people. Brashta means I want to be proper, I want to have dharma, I want to make the right choices, but what to do? Never done. Kalaye sundarakaram sadaika priyadarshanam ajnana nashakam devam sadgurum muralidharam. Our beloved master Maharanyam Sri Muralidhara Swamiji has tremendously blessed us to relish this wonderful work called Kali Dharma Undiyar. And with the grace of our beloved Madhuri Sakhi Sameta Premikavarda Thakurji, we are exploring this simple yet profound, straightforward yet layered work of our beloved Guru Maharaj. And we saw in the first day that it is composed in the meter of Undipara. Undipara is typically a small game played by girls, and they sing when they play it. One version of it says that it is two girls interlocking their hands and going round as a swirl. Another one says that the same girl wearing a long frock, pavadai, when it goes around and sits down, the pavadai becomes a lovely like balloon like type of a thing when she sits down. So while she is going round and round, people said Undipara, Undipara. And there is also another version which says that right now we have this game called Ko, or rather Ko. And the earlier days, people used to tap somebody and they will be sitting. If you touch somebody and say Ko, then immediately you have to jump up and go and catch somebody. So that is also seen as Undipara. Depending on which version we follow, anything finally, it is a wonderful game played by children. And the very fact that this Undipara is used for this Kali Dharma Undiyar is because even though the path to derive that dharma may be a little difficult to understand, the path is easy. Na? So since finally our Swamiji is going to conclude saying, Evarkum Yelidam Endru Undipara. And just like how the children's game are actually called child's play, na? Likewise, this greatest dharma in Kali Yuga is also going to be like child's play for everybody. It is so simple, it is so easy, and everybody can get into this dharma. And since it's a simple dharma, our Swamiji used a simple meter, which is actually sung by simple people when they are simply playing to show the path of Nama. Kali Dharma Undiyar. And we saw the first dhyana or the Mangalacharana of this Kali Dharma Undiyar itself shows the end, that it is, we are all going to finally surrender to Bhagavan. So here Kali Dharma Undiyar starts where Bhagavad Gita has culminated. Sarvadharman paridhyajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha. Bhagavan's final word in Gita was completely come and surrender to me. And our Swamiji starts this dharma because in Kali Yuga we have no other option but to surrender. And the first Mangalacharanam itself starts with the last sloka of Bhagavad Gita, and hence showing that this is Bhagavad Gita's haram. And the Muttodil Purindum Puriyadirkum is actually the way in which our Bhagavatam starts, Janmadhyasya Yataha Satyam Param Dhimahi. And the last word of Bhagavatam is Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanaha Tam Namami Harim Param. And Swamiji also culminates this Kali Dharma Undiyar with, when you look at all these above verses, what comes to our conclusion is Ilai Nama Me Gati. Nama Sankirtana is our Gati. And so Kali Dharma Undiyar is also Bhagavata Saram. And all the Smritis finally has one very clear indication of conclusion. Alotya sarva sastrani vicharyascha puna punaha itam yekam sunishpannam dhyayo narayana sata. Vyasa Vakya. Our Vyasa Bhagavan says, I went through all the shastrams again and again and again, not once. Punah punaha. Alotya, not casually I didn't read it. I went through, poured through the text as we say, and did a tremendous analysis. I did contemplation. I did repeated reflection. Alotya sarva, not one shastra, sarva shastra. Vedanta shastram, Upasana shastram, Karmaganda shastram, all shastram. Whether it is Shanmata shastram, I have seen everything. And finally, I have come to a conclusion, Dhyayo Narayana Sata. The only way, which is the final conclusion of all shastras, is be in the constant contemplation of Narayana. our Adishankara Bhagavatpada, Bodhendra Swamigal, and all the other great Acharya Purushas who came from all the three matas, they have concluded Deyo Narayana Sada means Sada. What can we do? We can Sada do the dhyana of Narayana only through Nama Sankirtanam. And that is the conclusion of all Shastras. What our Vedavyasa Bhagavan wrote in one verse, our Swamiji is saying, what is this Alodhya Sarva Shastrani Vicharyasya Puna Punaha? That is the 29 verses of Kali Dharma Undiyar. All the Shastras which first had to actually fend off from Avaidic forces. Even before Avaidic forces, they were atheistic forces. People who did not even accept the existence of Paramatma, Brahman or Bhagavan. So that has to be protected first. So Nastika and all these naturalists or the Sankhya Matam has to be protected. And then within Sanatana Dharma, we have to be clear which is the Pramanam, Vedam Dam Praman. So amongst all the other faiths which does not take Vedam as Pramanam, we have to show Veda Pramanam. And within the Veda Pramanam of the various paths shown by Vedas, what is the fit path for Kali? Idam Vicharyasya Puna Punaha. Ulaga Makkal Uiya Vorvali Kandare. We saw that in the Mahamantra Kirtan. For all the people in the world to be emancipated, to be elevated, for them to attain the highest purpose of life, which is Krishna Charanam, Vorvali Kandare. Our Dhyayo Narayana Sada Idam Ekam Sunishpanna. That our Vyasa Bhagavan showed one path, a clear path, a universal path for everybody. Why is it a universal path for everybody? Because of its ease, because of its complete lack of any conditions. So, Ekam. Alotya Sarva Shastrani Kandare. Kandare na nartham. The one who actually saw the path for Kali. Veda Vyasa Bhagavan saw the path and finally said, Nama Sankirtanam is the path for you. Alotya Sarva Shastra. After I went through all the Shastras, final path is only Nama Sankirtanam, said Vyasa Bhagavan. And that's why our Swamiji seems to hint, Kandare, Abdina Mantra Drashtaha Rishihi. The one who saw the mantra, the one who saw the truth, one who saw the path. That's why in the end we said, Kandavar Kalitana. One who saw it, Veda Vyasa Bhagavan was very happy with Kali Dharma Undiyar. Why? Because his conclusion has been very simply summarized by our Swamiji. What Vedavyasa Bhagavan did with tremendous effort and gave that wonderful slokam, our Swamiji has taken it as pramanam to give 30 verses where everybody can understand simply. That which Vedavyasa Bhagavan with the tremendous pouring over text finally came to a conclusion. Our Swamiji also has taken that bhava of Vedavyasa Bhagavan, Acharyarna Vardhani, and has come to the same conclusion. So the one who saw it, Kandavar Kalitanar, Kali Dharmatai, Kondai in Olar. Right from Vyasa Bhagavan, all the Acharya Purushas must be reveling and feeling the tremendous joy looking at Kali Dharma Undiyar, Nandre. Very good. This is what we all wanted. And that's what is this Kali Dharma Undiyar, essence of all Shastras. And because Shastras need to show only two things. The Veda Mata is there to show two things which are beyond the ken of our intellect. It is beyond the actual reach of our intellect or our direct perception. What are the two things? In our spiritual path, we need to know what is our spiritual goal. That cannot be concluded with our intellect, because intellect itself is very limited. Intellect itself works on the past dead knowledge. And so a normal intellect cannot understand all this. For anything which is supramental, for anything which is beyond the mind, beyond the intellect, obviously, Shastras have to show two things. One is the path called Dharma, and finally the goal called Bhagavan or Brahman or Paramatma. Shastrathike rende vishayam. What is the path and what is the goal? What is the sadhana and what is the sadhya? Both cannot be decided by an intellect, because intellect cannot go in those areas. Like I cannot smell a small patram. If you have something, if you have this flower, prasadam, wonderful smell. Can you do that? This is also skin. That is also skin. But the big difference is we can smell only here. Eyes cannot smell. Even though there is samyam. Enna samyam na? This is skin. That is skin. That way both are same. But smelling can't be done by eye. It needs a different authority to say whether it is smelling good or bad. And what is that authority? The sense of smell. Like that, some things cannot be inferred just by pratyaksham. You need a little bit of intellect to understand the cause and effect relationship. Eyes cannot say that there is fire just because it sees smoke. Eyes will only tell smoke. But the conclusion that it is fire has to be done by the intellect, which is a little higher level agency. It's a higher agent. It is a higher pramana. It is the higher source of knowledge, authority of knowledge. So eyes, nose, etc. can't see beyond the effect. The mind, the intellect actually says, oh, if there is smoke, I have seen fire before the smoke. Eyes can't do that. Buddhi does that. So what eyes can't do, what nose can do, what tongue can't do, intellect can do. Because these have limits, intellect can do something better than that. Like that, intellect also has a limit. And what is that limit? That limit is beyond the worldly stuff. Beyond what we see as the physical universe, it cannot reach beyond it. Between life and death, it can do everything else. Before life and after death, it does not know. For that, we need something else, which is not a product of some other person's intellect. It is called apaurushayam, which means it's not a product of human intellect. It is what is called as shastras or scriptures. You see? And that rishis see it not with their intellect, but in samadhi. That's why when our Vyasa Bhagavan gave us Bhagavatam, how did he give us? He did not sit down, think and write. He went into samadhi and saw Bhagavatam. And then whatever came out of samadhi became Bhagavatam. That is why Mahatmas get into samadhi listening to Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam emanated from samadhi, and Bhagavatam sustained in Shukamuni's samadhi. And if our ears are open enough, if our hearts are melting enough, then it will finally, Bhagavatam will layam in our samadhi. And that's why it Janmadi Yasya Yataha for Bhagavatam na samadhi na. The Bhagavatam came from samadhi. The one who spoke Bhagavatam was in the state of samadhi. He is saying, Atma Ramascha Munayo Nirgranta Pi Urukrame Kurvanti Haitu Kim Bhakti Mittam Bhuta Guno Harihi. That is Shukamuni. Bhagavatam sustained in samadhi. To this day, it is sustaining the samadhi of such great Paramahamsas. That's why every chapter end we say, Iti Srimat Bhagavate Mahapurane Paramamsyam Samhitaya. Paramahamsanale, people in that fourth state, we say yesterday, na Turiya. They are in the state of samadhi and they are enjoying Bhagavatam in that state of samadhi. Bhagavatam Chaitanya or Mahatma had an old Bhagavata book in the attic when he was young. And one day night when he was sleeping in the hall where the book was there, nobody knew about it. In the night he could hear Bhagavata Shabdam emanating, in the divine samadhi. He sang, and then he took a small stick, took it out. It was the lovely old version of this Volachodi of Bhagavatam sitting. Chaitanya, you see. And so mind and intellect cannot work on these two things. That which is beyond this world, that which is after our body drops or before our body came into being, nobody knows. It can't be inferred. Even when you say I did regression analysis, there is regression. Na? Some people do it. Na? There are even very famous books about it. Regression, it cannot be conclusively be the proof for, it can only be an additional reinforcing point, you see. So here, idikla shastram, tasmat shastram pramanam, karya karya vyavastita, Bhagavan solran, you want to see that. And so the work of any shastram nale Vedas, Shruti, which is Vedas, Upanishad, part of Vedas, Smriti, and all the 18 Smritis of all the rishis have said, this is how you run your life, alla shastram. And then you have Itihasa, Purana, alla shastram, you see. And then you have the Shastra of how to analyze something, Mimamsa, Shastram. So the Shastram has 14 Vidyasthanam solva. There are 14 types of Shastrams. The purpose of all that directly or indirectly is show a path for the purpose of life, which is moksham. And tell about what is moksham. How do I get there and what is that moksham? And talk about who is Bhagavan, how do you attain Bhagavan. So the sadhana, which is the means, and sadhyam, which is the end only, Shastram has to say. And that is the reason why dharmam abdinale shastram, not intellect. When you say dharmam abdina, then don't just go by intellect. Some dharmams are normally any intellect will understand. It is called samanya dharma, which is common to everybody. Hence, it does not need too much of acumen of knowledge from shastras to come to terms with it. For example, don't hurt others because we want others not to hurt us. The law of reciprocation. This is pretty common knowledge for everybody. Even in the human intellect can stumble into it. But then very specific dharma, etc., what will we do? You see, all that we need Shastra. So Shastram does two things, dharmam and dharmasya prabhuhu. The purpose of dharmam, dharma swanishtita punga. When we do dharma, where it will lead us to that state of moksha, to that state of Bhagavan, divinity, all that also Vedas talk about it, isn't it? So our Swamiji very beautifully said, this is Dharma Grantham. And why? Because it's the name, Kali Dharma Undiyar. So it's going to talk about dharmam. But without understanding the end in mind, there is no point telling only the means. Na? So finally, we have to come to an end. And generally, it's a good practice for us to start with the end in the beginning itself. So be clear what the end is. Begin with the end in the mind. And the end is, Muttoril Purindum, Puriyadirkum, Mudalva Sharanam Undipara, Muktiki Vittiduvai Undipara. End yarina Bhagavan. What is the purpose of life? Mukti or liberation. That is very well established. Who said that? Not my intellect or yours. Shastram say that. And what is the path? 30 slokas. Why, sir? One sloka would have been enough. Na all out Sarva Shastra. Our Swamiji has done the complete pouring over all the Shastras, made it very simple so that we get the vigor, clarity in going in the path which we are going, which is Nama Sankirtana Marga. Otherwise, we get confused. When somebody says, no, you have to do Vicharam, na, we may feel a little diverted. Why na Vicharam grand mark? That's nobody can deny it is a genuine grand markam, no doubt about it. Are we fit for it? Adu we have to do Vicharam. Kali Dharma Undiyar convinces. And somebody says karma margam. Are we fit? You have to see. Somebody says Raja Yogam. Great margam. Bhagavan himself says. Raja Gukyam, Raja Yogam na solrar. But are we fit? So when there are many paths, and we need to show a clear path, depending on our eligibility or not eligibility, our state of being right now. What is our current power? What is our current capability? Based on that, we have to show a path, isn't it? Adha Alotya Sarva Shastra. And our Swamiji did that exact thing, Alotya Sarva Shastra. And Visharyasya Puna Puna. This is not the first song he wrote. Na? It is a result of so much of seeing this world. Our Swamiji, generally Narada Maharshi is celebrated as a great Mahatma. For a simple reason, unlike Shukamuni, he is not constantly only in Samadhi. Unlike other normal people, he does not go around the world simply wasting his time. He has the power to understand what is happening around him, and he also has the power to understand what is happening inside each of them, and he is also in that state of Samadhi, so he understands practical considerations of the world. Analda Narada Muni da Bhagavatatku trigger, Ramayanatku trigger. Why? For Kali we need these two. And that is the reason why Mahatmas like our beloved Guru Maharaj understand both worlds very well. He understands our limitations very well. And instead of condemning it, Bhagavata Dharma Mahatmas understand our pathetic situation. They understand we are not dushtas, but we are brashtas. Dushta na wicked people, brashta na fallen people. Brashta means I want to be proper, I want to have dharma, I want to make the right choices, but what to do? Never does. It's not that I am like Hiranyakashipu, where I want to go and actually do something wrong. I want to be good only, but something in me is not giving me the strength to go in the right path. Something in me is afraid to even treat the path of dharma as shown by Vedas. Right or wrong? You understand what I'm saying? So, our Swamiji, Mahatmas like our Swamiji, when I say Swamiji, Mahatmas like him, neither would they compromise Vedic values, nor would they push down a value which we can't follow in the current situation down our throat. Adhidam beauty. Compassion, but compassion within the limit of our Shastras. Illana adu vandu or mindless compassion kedayadu. Mindful compassion. Mindful of what our Shastras say, yet they think about what is the way out for them. And it cannot be against Shastras. If any path is shown which is not Vedic, aligned to Vedic, waste, Sramam. Anybody can come up with any path. There are some people, very rarely, not everybody who claims to be what they are. There are some people who by some bhagyam, they stumble to the truth, but they don't know how to express it outside. So they will talk something which nobody can understand. And because they have stumbled and seen a fragment of the truth, they will have the charisma. Unfortunately, people can't get anything out of it because they themselves cannot explain it. So they would be talking about some state and yarkum priyadu. But kekka, it will be very good because they have some dhyana shakti. Abdi illiye mahans. You take any great Acharya Purusha, they feel for the whole humankind. And they understand that Veda Marga is the Marga for our highest good. They also understand the current pathetic situation we are all in. Pathetic, don't think without food, without shelter. Adallam body dharma. I'm talking about Atma Dharma. I'm talking about Dharma of the soul. Adu pathetic adana. Because in Kali it is said, Mandagha Sumanda Matayo Mandabhagya Kyupadrutaga. That generally people may not have the spiritual acumen, intelligence. Anybody says anything, they will start thinking, oh, must be a great soul. No, Mari, I don't. Anybody who speaks, Andamari Mandaha Sumanda. Instead of looking at the essence of a speech of a Mahatma, the floweriness, Pushpitam Vacham Drare, at least Bhagavan is referring to Vedic Pandits Pushpitam Vacham to Arjuna. Inga adu kuda illame, somebody putting flowery language, witty language, Mandaha Sumanda. But here, Mahatmas like Narada Maharishi and Mahatmas like all our Acharya Purushas, Vedic Acharya Purushas, Mahants, all of them understood the situation where we need to somehow, without making too much sacrifices in our life because we are incapable of making it, they had to show a path. In spite of our state of the current being, they have to show a path in line with Vedas, yet practicable to the current situation. Number 4 பேர் in a satsang, number we are doing whatever we are supposed to do as per our scriptures, etc. We can't use that to understand what the world is now. World in Ethiopian. And you all know, I know, Mahatmas also know. And hence they have this tremendous kripa in their heart. You have to understand. It is the kripa which is the background of all we are talking today. Their love for Vedas is supreme. Their love for Karma Kandam is supreme. Their love for Upasana Kandam is supreme. Their love for Jnana Kandam is supreme. But above all, the compassion they have towards people like us who are physically, mentally, emotionally, mostly unfit for all these three is supreme, most supreme. Adinala looking at us out of their kripa, ஒரு குமுறல் வருது இப்படி இருக்காளே அவர் வேதமாதா grandly she's showing all these paths. Then they look at the paths, feel very happy with horripilation. They looked at all these things and they are horrified looking at all of us. இதெல்லாம் ஒண்ணுமே பண்ண முடியாது. And what is the current state of the society? What is the current times? How is the time rolling nowadays? They see all that. And then Kali Dharma Undiyar. It is not just Dharma Undiyar. If it is merely Dharma Undiyar, we can beautifully tell about all the paths now. This is the Karma Margam. This is the Raja Yoga Margam. This is the Jnana Margam. And this is the Bhakti Margam. Allah Sallam, Jammu Sallam. You see? But then who can do all this? That is the compassion we have. So remember this. This whole 30 verses came out of tremendous compassion from their heart. And they are not looking for 10 people who are qualified can attain Bhagavan. That's not a religion. A religion should show a path right from a completely unlettered fellow who is struggling in day-to-day life to a very secure person who has a lovely library, who is well-read, and he has this wonderful life of entitlement, etc. He also, Panditan Mudarkonda, farmer and Marayu. Everybody. So that is the dharma which we have to look for. And it is very clear as the days progress, the divide is going to be more and more. And so it has to cover the entire spectrum of every human being, by human being, including Jantu. Adana Bhishmacharya says, Kinjapan Muchate Jantu. Anything which is born, every living being, there should be a common path. Specifically, especially for humans. Have that in our heart when we are looking at all these verses. Only then it will make sense for us. The idea is compassion. Idea is not condemnation. Idea is compassion. And that compassion we can't imagine. The Ramanujacharya's compassion, who can imagine? When our Adi Shankara Bhagavad sang Bhajagovinda Muda Mate, his compassion, who can imagine? When our Madhvacharya installed our lovely little Krishna from Dwaraka to in Udupi, so that everybody, right from a normal person to a very great Pandit, can go and see straight away and get the Krishna Darshanam. His compassion, who can understand? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's compassion, where he said, forget everything, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. His compassion, who can gauge? So these are all Acharya Purushas. Their compassion is immense. They didn't come here to actually attain something or be biased towards one path. They came here for only one purpose. Bhagavan sends them down only one purpose. Somehow தான் பகவான் சொல்லி அனுப்புவான். எப்படின்னு நீ பாத்துக்கோப்பா. As many people who need to come to me, bring them, send them across. Bhagavan's kripa is Mahatmas. And so they come down, and there, with tremendous compassion flooding their heart, looking, I've seen it first time, so I'm telling you. Or news, when he hears how much he goes through, we know. How much he empathizes, we know. So for you only see the bodily problem. They see something beyond this body. Swarga narangala satyam. Namma nambaroma nambaleya. It does not matter if I believe or not. If I slip from the first floor of a house, I'll fall down or not. Gravitation does not take the sanction of our belief to hit us. Likewise, Shastrana Shastram. After our body drops, we have to answer for every act we do. And this Naragala Satyam. All the people who are suffering in Naraga, all these people who make a mistake of ending their life voluntarily, and then they come and cry. Mahatma கிட்ட வந்து அழுவானா, கரையத்து கரையத்து. இதெல்லாம் சத்தியம் இல்லையா? Like Gokarna story you heard, don't think it's only imaginary. சத்தியம். அதெல்லாம் அந்த மாதிரியான ஜீவன் comes and prays, cries, and they understand. ஏதோ ஒரு அல்பத்துக்காக பெருசா கொட்ட விடுறாளே, வியாஜ் தோக்கே முழுக்கோ பேட்டே. For small little alpa things we do papam, and big consequences waiting, and we don't see that consequence. It is Guru Maharaj, Mahatmas, Acharya Purushas who see it, and then they think, oh my God, how do I take them across? If I tell them dharma, do this, don't do this, papam punyam, now we have gone beyond all that. Now there is only one way out for us, out of Bhagavat Kripa. If we somehow cross over all these, ajnanam, all these papam punyam, etc., that is the only way out. Adunala Mudalva Sharanam. Inga vandu berame kedaidu. No negotiation with Bhagavan. Swami, I will do proper japam, please take care. Onnum kedaidu. Our Swamiji is saying, all these people out there, avalukku na sharanagati pandren. Somehow I'll make them chant even Mahamantra once. You take that into account and take them across. Hey, Ajamila, Varada, you took care of Ajamilana, you took care of Chatrabandhuna, take care of all these people. Idudha Acharya Hrudayam, we saw that in Prahalad. Because we don't know the consequence of our actions, you see. And they know. They actually saw how all these jivas, after they leave this body, they know. We don't see it, so out of sight, it's not in our mind. And so many people even say, you are already there. So and when we have even the smallest thing we can't control, do you think we are already there? A smallest thing, salt is reduced in our food tonight, is not going inside our mouth, you see. And we think we are already in the state of being. Yeah. That's why whenever you say Vedanta Vichara, first step is Athato. After this, because of that, come Brahma Vichara. After what? Sadhana Chatushtayam. Do you have the minimum Shama, minimum Dhamma, the minimum control of senses? Minimum control of the mind. This is all Shama. Minimum control of our senses, Dhamma. Without all this, it's all joke, you see. And without even mumukshutvam, truly aspiring for freedom, we can't be fooling ourselves to think Atma is free, I am Atma. Satya, Vyavaharathile ellam satyam, Swargam satyam, Naragam satyam. Just like how even when we dream a nightmare, that experience during the dream is Satya. Nobody can deny that. When you wake up, you may smile at it, laugh at it. But when we are undergoing the nightmare, it's a nightmare. The law they have in their heart. And then the Mudalva Sharanathila ivlo bhavana. When he goes to Bhagavan, who is the Adi Karanam, like Prahalada Swami, our Swamiji goes to him and says, Mudalva Sharanam. Because of that greatness of a Mahapurusha, Bhagavan feels very happy and said, Enna vishayam, muktiki vittidavai. And because of their love, because of their tremendous gunam, Bhagavan is now a little, little beholden, little tied by this Mahatma's bhakti. And like how a mother will slowly convince the father to forgive the child and somehow take care of them, our Guru Maharaj also goes to Bhagavan, and then with his sweet words, with his wonderful melting heart, with his bhakti, with his gunam, Bhagavan is beholden and slowly is saying, and with that in heart, now listen. And then he looks at us. After telling Bhagavan, even though they are all they are not following proper Papa Punyalam, and they are all only children. They don't know the impact of what they are doing. I will take one path from your own walk, which is Vedam is Bhagavan, Bhagavan is Vedam. Vedam Narayana Sakshat Vedo. Narayana Sakshat Swayambhu Riti Sushruma. Vedam is Bhagavan's intelligence. Vedam is no different from Bhagavan, says Bhagavatam. So using your own form of Vedas, Shabda Brahma, Parabrahma, Ubayo me Sashvati Tanu. Shabda Brahmam is Vedam. Shabda Brahmam is Bhagavatam. So a guru goes to the Bhagavan and says, using your path, which is your words in Vedas, I'm going to discern that path, glean that path out. And that is the easy path which you yourself showed to Jivasna. So I'm going to show that path to people. I'm going to beg them to chant. I'm going to try to see if I can convince them to chant. Even if they don't chant, I will chant for them and get Nama Mahanide Dano Daro. Mahatmas loved Irpana. When you go to Govindapuram, our Bodhendra Swamiji is doing a lot of Ramanama. Whoever passes that place and comes to that Adhisthana for some work, electric work, but he has come into my purview. So whatever Rama I did, let me give it to him. And that is what is Acharya Hridayam. With that Hridayam, our Swamiji has given 29 verses showing the state of Kali Dharma and coming to the conclusion of the last verse, which is Namasolli. And that is why Swamiji started this movement called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nama Bhiksha Kendra. Because so when you want to argue, we are very intelligent to get out of argument. But Mahatmas don't want to argue. Mahatmas don't want to convince also. Mahatmas are just telling like a very concerned friend, concerned father or mother is telling all this. And basically Mahatmas are saying, Namu Falupa. They are pleading. Nama Bhiksha. You see, that path was shown by Mahaprabhu out of his tremendous compassion towards the entire humankind. And that's what our Swamiji is also showing. So in the first two verses, our Swamiji beautifully negated. Don't even have a shred of doubt. This universe can't exist without a conscious Paramatma, Bhagavan. And whether you call it Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, all are one. And we already saw it in Bhagavad Gita and in Kali Dharma and Mahamantra Kirtan. Brahman is like that water vapor which is existing all over the world in various degrees. And when you can condense the water vapor into water and ice, it is like with bhakti, that which is all prevalent takes a form and a name, Anugrahartam, Ade form. Krishna is omnipresent. But only when we do bhakti, we condense him in a form which we can emote with and experience it in that state, which I told yesterday. Not with the mind, not with the sense organs, but deep inside in our heart. Hridaya Guhara Madhyenra only, as an anubhava. And so first our Swamiji said Nastikam and other Yerkaivadam, which is nature, sub-prakriti. Everything is prakriti. Illapa. There is Bhagavan. He is watching us 100%. He knows what we are doing. When you offer even a flower, he knows. When you sing even a kirtan, he knows. He remembers. We may forget, he doesn't. Ajamila chanted Narayanama in his childhood, but Bhagavan remembered, he forgot Bhagavan. Bhagavan remembered. Is the Anugraha. Even as children, if we do something knowingly or unknowingly, we may forget Bhagavan when we become an adolescent. Bhagavan won't forget. That's why we have Gopagutiram. As much. Whether they forget Bhagavan or not, Bhagavan won't forget. That is the idea behind having this wonderful Gopagutiram, where our main intention is not just intellectual development or physical development or emotional development. That is also there. Main thing is bhakti. Bhagavano Tarkano or faith or there. Yalla, if we put it as equation and everything we put it as symbolism, now where will bhakti come? You see? And we don't look at a child as a symbol of our family member. We actually look at a child and we get the bhavam of loveliness, beauty, or attachment, or love we have now when a child comes. Do we ever say it's a symbol of our marriage? What is that Korandan if you do an equation? We want the children to see our Perumal. It is our Krishna. And once they have that bhavana, they get fine emotions. And then wherever they go, that bhakti will protect them. And so, the first two slokas, our Swamiji said, outside world is run by Bhagavan, inside world is also run by Bhagavan. Outside world is called Brahman. inside world is called Paramatma. He is also Bhagavan Sri Krishna, who also is inseparable from Krishna Nama. You see. And then in the next 3 verses, Swamiji assures us, you can experience God, but not in the way you think. You can't see with your physical eye. If you see with the physical eye, everybody should see also. When somebody is dreaming, even if 2 people are co-located in the same room, one's dream is not the same as another's dream. They are not seeing it in a physical universe. If 2 people have their minds very much aligned, they may even have the same dream. Like we say, some great avatar Purusha's mother and father had the same dream. How? Because of the Anyonya. So many times when we think of something, the other half actually completes the other half of the sentence. That's harmonization of the mind. Like that. In that bhava, in that chaitanyam, Mahatmas can see the same place, same thing. That's bhava loka. And the example which we will see is the Kanakadasa's Charitra. You see, where Kanakadasa Swami is a bhakta of Udupi Sri Krishna, and our Vyasaraya Swami is also Udupi Sri Krishna bhakta. And whatever Vyasaraya is doing as his tremendous sense of dhyanam, and the Nitya Manasa Puja, our jnani dane. And Kanakadasa was in that state, Kanakadasa. And when he was offering mala to Udupi Sri Krishna, in what? Not in physical place, the heart lab. Since both these Krishna bhaktas have the same heart, Eka Hridayam solron liya, whatever he is doing, he was also seeing. You see. And when mala fell down, Kanakadasa Swami is giving an explanation. How do you know? He says, when you do your Manasa Puja, you shall do. So we both met in that bhava. Possible. You see. So our Swamiji says, God can be experienced. And not with our dull mind. Mind is jadam. Mind is jadam. Mind is not conscious. There is something deeper than mind, which is consciousness. And it is not with physical eye, it is not with mental eye, it is with the eye of consciousness, you can see. The 4th avastha, Turiya avastha. And when a guru is in Turiya avastha, and a Sishya is in Turiya avastha, guru can actually give the darshana of a Bhagavan in the same avastha. How do you think Ekanatha Swami saw our Dattatreya Swami while going to Godavari? Under a Udumbara Vikshamna physical and inner Nenachela. Ekanatha Swami was such a great Mahatma that when he passed through that place, because of the sankalpa of his guru, he had the darshana. And the Chaitanya Trabdi, Sakshatkaram. But his guru bhakti was way greater than Assyria. And when you have the Sakshatkaram, imagine when you are sleeping, somebody wakes you from sleep, it takes a little while now for you to even see what is happening around you. That is with the mind which is sleeping. When the mind is controlled and you have this Sakshatkarana, do you think normally coffee, tea, then our life will change a bit. You see. Then very difficult for us. We have to pull ourselves down to the physical world to even do day-to-day transactions. But Ekanatha Swami thought Kainkaryam above all else. Who cares about Bhavam? Who cares about Sakshatkara? Guru Kainkaryam. Some Acharya Purushas, I have heard it from Bhagavat Ramanujacharya Bhashyakara also, that he is praying to our Sri Ranganatha Swami saying, please give me any Sakshatkara, Anubhava, etc., which may come in the way of my Nitya Kainkari. I want to do Archavatara Kainkari. All that other Sakshatkara, I want to do Archavatara Kainkari. When our Tirumangayalvar went to one of these places, Tirindalurla, when he went there, one of those Divya Desams, the temple was closed, the screen was put. And he was coming with tremendous joy to see Archavatara, the deity inside the sanctum. But then whoever does the puja, he is the one who controls it. The deity becomes chamatai. Our Bhattacharya, whatever he says, deity will say. Whatever he feeds, deity chupchap, idu venda. And even if deity wants something, it will go to the dream of somebody else and demand. Bhattacharya dream is like, Aham Bhakta Paradhinan Bhagavan Apdi Paradhin. He becomes very, very subservient, or rather, he becomes very much controllable by somebody who does Shraddhaya Puja Panna control on the. And such a great Mahatma, such a great devotee, such a great Purusha, Mahapurusha, our Tirumangayalvar is standing outside the temple, and Bhagavan, Divya Sakshatkaram of Vasudevan came and said, I know you came in to see me. I also wanted to see you. But you can't come in because already they have put that, screen. I don't want Sakshatkara. Why should I come so long here? I want to see your Archavatar. I want to see your deity inside. And that I can't do. Bhattacharya close panna. I have many more places to go. Saukyama Tirindoli Nire Vandupom in better. You see. Idalanda Archavada. Suman Archavada. The Thakurji Kai, Devargala Nikran, we don't know, I don't know. Swamiji sent it na. So our he is so simple for us. When we are shaking the Unjal, our Dibdi the Karpam, number order Atathla or our Swamiji says, Avan Arti Vaka, non Adi, Inga number Arti Vaka, you are adding the Karpana, Saulabia. Saulabia. Pakamudia. Adu Model Manasla Wangit than a Nam Tuluchiva. So Swamiji, I'm sorry to use a lot of Tamil. Our Swamiji is saying that first take it in your mind that it is possible for you to see Bhagavan. And for that, he is giving a very simple logic to quieten our intellect. Unfortunately, just like how the tongue is the portal for us to eat the food which is required by the stomach only. Stomach kada we are eating, but tongue modalla, pavalla, jalebi, vaulla. Likewise, intellect unfortunately is the dwara palaka for us to have dharma in our heart. It has to go through the intellect, so it has to be silenced. And Swamiji gives yukti ki purutamam. He is just silencing our intellect to give some little logic so that it will be silenced to be open to something which is beyond the intellect. You see? So, idallam a spark he gives. Keep quiet. So, he is saying, when you are sleeping and dreaming, you don't need physical eyes. Na? Like that, you don't even need a mental eye to see Bhagavan. You need that eye called Drishtim Jnanamayim Kritva. Use your Jnanamayamana Drishti. Jnanamayamana Drishti means what? It is the actual eye of consciousness in the fourth state which normal human beings cannot aspire. But if you continuously chant the divine name, not because we are fit, Bhagavan wants to show himself to us out of his love, so he will make us fit for us to have the Sakshatkar. And so in the third, fourth and fifth verse, our Swamiji very beautifully says, Bhagavan can be experienced. He can be seen. Sakshatkaram. And Bhagavan speak to us. The feeble voice we hear, the voice of conscience is Bhagavan's voice. As we progress in Nama Sankirtan, it is possible for you to listen to our flute, notes of the flute. Imagine problem. When you go in Bhakti, you can listen. And that is the reason why Kujalo say Gindran, it is not some songs like Arikade and Nay, Anubhava. Where Bhagavan is calling, I can't come to Vrindavan now. Alai Kindran Kannan Kujaludi, and that flute noise can be heard. 100% possible. So here our Swamiji is saying there is so much to actually explore in the bhakti. And first we have to take the first steps. So he's first showing us it's possible. And third, fourth, and fifth. Third verse talks about you don't need physical eye to see Bhagavan. Likewise, you have to enhance your, if I can use the word, intuitive eye of knowledge. And the fourth verse says you can listen to Bhagavan. And he will talk to you. And many Mahatmas have sent their devotees and Bhagavan has talked to you. And the fifth verse, our Swamiji is saying that, remember, when you put a seed, it becomes a plant and immediately you say living being. Seed, I'm not very sure. Seed as a seed is not living. Seed, when it interacts with the Bhuma Devi, becomes a living being. So, it's in a hint. So, Bhumi ku uir irukku. And that's what is called Bhuma Devi, we say. So, see life everywhere. See Chaitanyam everywhere. Only then we will actually get to the state of Chaitanyam. Ilana will be dull, jadam, you say. And so, in the 6th, 7th, and 8th, in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, our Swamiji talked about what is the Prama, what is the right knowledge, what is the end of Dharma, Bhagavan. So, you can see Bhagavan. Sakshatkaram is the end of Dharma. Pramana, the knowledge. Knowledge or experience. And then in the 6th, 7th, and 8th slokas or stanzas, he is telling us the Pramanam. Pramanam, with what will I get that knowledge? How do I know this flower is red? With eyes I saw it and understood the flower is red. Likewise, if you want me to see Bhagavan, I have to use a pramana. My direct perception is not the right pramana. My intellect may not be the right pramana. I have to see it through Vedas to get the experience of the direct experience of Sakshat. So Pramanam is Veda Pramanam. And within the Veda Pramanam, the next 3 slokas talks about other paths, Karma Marga, etc. right? And then from the next 9 slokas, it talks about what is the current state. In a Kali Dharma Undiyar, the Kali portion of it is telling. And then he says, now you decide what is the Dharma you want. And then it will be unanimous. And a very clear, unanimous, unequivocal conclusion would be Namandangati. All out sarva shastrani visharyascha punaha idam yekam sunishpannam deyo narayana nama kirtanam. See, and then in the next 9 slokas, he talks about minimum vairagyam we need to have so that at least we chant the divine name. Not the vairagyam required for sannyasam. Kalila sannyasam na ellarkkum kadayadhu. Sila per irukana very rare exception. Sannyasa dharmam is very difficult in Kali because it is said in our shastras. Sannyasa dharmam is a very, we have to be very careful. If we are a sannyasi and we make a mistake, prayachitame illandra. I don't know, I'm not an expert, but I'm just repeating what Mahatmas said because they have said, I have faith in their words. Sannyasa dharma, if somebody falls, prayachitame illandra. Dangerous dharma, you see. And that is what he said. Now you get the full picture. Let us now go to those stanzas which we saw yesterday. First he said, 6th, 7th, 8th, தோன்றியது அழியும் அழிந்தது தோன்றும் தோன்றி தோன்றி அழியும் என்றும் தீபன யுக்திக்கு பொருத்தமம் உந்தீப. That which is appeared has to disappear. Anything which appears has to have its end. And that which disappears will appear again. Aduna yuktiki, you have to be careful. That's why we use what is called as manifest and unmanifest. Ideas. A potter's pot can break, but the potter's intellect which conceptualize the pot cannot go at all. A potter being a potter will always have the concept of pot in his heart all the time. Whether 10 pots ponalum paravailla, 100 pot ponalum, he knows how to make the 101st. Adu allive aliyadhu, you see. And this potter may die, but this potter, the world, one who creates, has no end, no start. He is Ananta. So here, he said, so everything is in a cycle. What appears disappears, what disappears appears. It's again and again there. This is what is called the play of creation. Gambhira Leela. Bhagavan does this Gambhira Leela. For what is he doing? Not for his benefit. It is done out of compassion. Daya Devi provokes Bhagavan to do this again and again and again. And she somehow makes Bhagavan come under her grip so that he never gets tired of doing it. Poetically put. So out of Bhagavan's compassion, he never gives up. He keeps on doing it again. And then our Swamiji says, so the purpose of creation, there is a karanam, there is a meaning in creation, there is a purpose in creation. Don't go by all these flowery words. There is no purpose in this creation, there is only a meaning in creation. I think meaningless, you see. Shastram is clearly telling us there is a purpose, there is a meaning. What is the purpose and meaning? Purpose is that we have to attain moksham. What is the meaning? Get at least something out of this life. What is the final purpose of life? Is moksham. So this is what our Shruti Gita's introductory slokams, our Shukamuni is telling Parikshit. Now Vedam has come, Brahma Samhitam, Bhagavatam, we enter. And our Shukamuni says, Buddhi Indriya Mana Pranane Jananam Asrujat Prabhu Matrartam cha Bhavartam cha Atmane Akalpanaya cha. So our Bhagavan actually gave everybody Buddhi, he gave Indriya, he gave Manam, and he gave Pranane, and he gave everybody life in this world, and also created a lot of things to actually enjoy for 3 major purposes. One is greater than the other, you see. The first preliminary purpose is let them at least experience something. Many times when the child is hungry, the mother has a diet for the child, saying that you eat this is very nutritious, etc. But if the child is not ready for that, the mother will say, eat something, okay, go. And in but that's not what the mother really wants. What she wants to do is slowly give what the child wants. And all these wriggly things, and they will add a little bit of broccoli, carrot, vegetables, you see. And then they said, have only this. What the mother does is, she's trying to make sure that the child understands that the mother's compassion is in her or his own interest. And once the faith is strengthened, the mother would then say, this is not what you eat. This is what you eat. And you jolly well eat it. Vedamata does the same. Matrartam cha, bhavartam cha, atmane akalpanaya cha. Vedamata first, rochanartam palashruti. First she promises, whatever karma you do, this is the fruit, take it, enjoy. And you want a bigger house, do this, you'll get it. And slowly we develop faith towards Vedamata. Then the Vedamata says, karma is not for all the small pleasures, dear. It is for us to actually offer all the fruits to Bhagavan so that our inner life can be more excelled. Mokshatkada, we have to do all this to prepare ourselves for liberation. And so, first is Alpa Sukham, which is all the pleasures and pains of this world. We undergo that. But then above that is to be free totally. Not to be in the clutches of samsara so that I am a mukta jiva. Even above that is being a mukta, I want to be an eternal servant of Paramatma. Have even that small little difference between him and he, so that I want to indulge in this lovely form, lovely name, whether Vaikuntamo, Golokamo. Ado mukshida. Kaivalyam is also mukti. But then people want to be here and do bhajanai. Adukku venu monoredam. Mahatmas says, Kaya ichi si Vaikunta. Why should I come to Vaikunta when Pandharpur is there? Why should I come to Vaikunta when Sri Rangam is there? Said Tondared Gudiyalvar. For me, Ichuvaitavira Yanpo Indralogam being in Sri Ranga Kshetram, doing service to Sri Ranganatha Swami is what I want. Neither do I want to be caught in samsara, nor do I want Vaikuntam. Bhagavan says, I only two na. Either some a world for that. And for us to enjoy little pleasures, we need this. But above that, even if you want to be a mukta, Satsangathil irukra Mahats are all muktas only. All the Acharya Purushas are all Jivan muktas. And being in the state of Jivan mukta, like Shukamuni, they enjoy Krishna Katha, Krishna Kirtan, Krishna Seva. And because of the compassion which Bhagavan has instilled, they also ensure that a lot of other people are all coming along with them to liberation. So here our Shukamuni says this whole world was created for these three things. Matartam cha, bhavartam cha, atmane akalpanaya cha. So Bhagavan did the Srishti for the grandest purpose of Veedu Peru Adaivade. Real Vaikuntam is in the real Satsangam of a Mahatma, Prema Bhakta. And real Vaikuntam is also Vaikuntam there. So Adu Tani, Veedu na idu rendu na. Veedu means the state where we don't have to come back or we are not compelled to be born again. And adukada the whole creation, you see. And then, how do we go there? So what is the way for me to liberate? Now, next to shloka. Saisha Hyupanishad Brahmi Purvesham Purvajayirdrita Shraddhaya Dharayedhyastam Kshemam Gaccheda Kinchana. The secret Vedas, the Upanishads, the Vedantam, which Brahma, and they gave it to Sanakadi Rishis and all those great Rishis. Whoever embraces the Vedic path alone can attain that liberation, can attain that prema bhakti. And so, mukti ki karanam, yukti ki porundinum vedam yerka vendumundi para, vedu upayamillai, undi para shraddhaya dharayedhyastam kshemam gaccheti akinchana. Only when we have shraddha and we embrace the principles of Vedas, only then we can get Mukti. Without Veda Mata's path, Mukti cannot be attained. Vedatnalata. So our Swamiji has now established Pramanam. What is a Pramanam? Veda Pramanam. Who says Krishna has a lovely flute, etc.? Veda Pramanam, Bhagavata Pramanam. And who says Tad Vishnoho Paramapadam? Veda Pramanam. Narayana Parabrahma, Veda Pramanam. Alla Veda. So, who created this whole universe? Vedam says that it is Bhagavan who created this. So, whether we want to understand Bhagavat Tattvam, or we want to understand Atma Tattvam, or we understand the Dharma which is going to take us there, whether Bhagavata Dharma or Samanya Dharma or Vaidika Dharma or whatever Dharma, it is all Veda Mata who can reveal that to us. So, our Swamiji slowly from Avaidikam, from all these materialistic paths, etc., he is pushing it out. And then he said Bhagavan can be realized. And for Bhagavan to be realized, the whole creation has a meaning. It is not some accident. It is not some, purposeless. Bhagavan does it with a purpose. If somebody does it once and then throws it away, we can say no purpose. If somebody keeps on doing the same thing again and again, it is absolute madness to think there is no purpose. Romba Alaga, there is an ancient vachanam that without any prayojanam, moodopina pravartate. Even fools don't do things which does not give them proper benefit. And this is Bhagavan creating, sustaining, resolving again and again for only one purpose, giving us chance after chance after chance to liberate ourselves. So here, our Swamiji says, Vedam. And without Vedam, if you allow the mind to go in the way it goes, big problem. It straight away takes us to hell. There are 3 wonderful gates for hell, it seems. So, the first gate to hell is called Kopam, anger. And the second gate to hell is called Lobam, greed. And the third gate to hell is called desire, Kamam. Kamam, Kopam, and greed, Lobam. 3 gates to hell, he says. Oh, Krishna. If you allow the mind to go the way it is going, in Tamil we say, Kandade Kachi, Kondade Kwa. Whatever I see is true. Whatever I am is the way I am going to be. I won't change anything. Would lead us straight away to these 3 gates, it seems. And says, if you want to avoid these 3 gates, where the hell is here only, you don't even have to go there. If you allow the mind to go wherever it is, and we think that's what it is, the path for me, we all get into trouble. And so he's saying, Yaha Shastra Vidhi Musrujya Vartate Kamakarataha Nasa Siddhim Avapnoti Na Sukam Na Paramgatim. Bhagavan says to our Arjuna that if you transgress the scriptural injunctions, Shastra Vidhi Musrujya Vartate Kamakarata, doing whatever I want, I will do without any controls, without any regulations. He says, Nasa Siddhim, you will never attain what you are anyway seeking, which is happiness. You won't attain perfection. Na Sukam, you won't be happy. Na Param Gatim, you won't get Mukti also. So what we need to do? Tasmat. Hence, Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Akarya Vyavastitau Nyatva Shastra Vidhana Uktam Karma Kartumiharhasi. Do everything as per what Shastras tells you. If you want Sukam, at least be happy in this world. Matrartham cha or Siddhim Bhavartham cha or Atmano Akalpanaya cha. Whether you want 3 things, Alaga solra, adedam Bhagavatam. Nyatva Shastram, what we need to do is either Siddhim, Sukam, Param Gatim. Tat Vishnoho Paramam Padama irundhalum seri, Atma Sakshatkara Siddhiya irundhalum seri, or Sukam, Sadharana Loka Sukam. Even that you follow Shastras, which is exactly what our Shukamuni is also saying in Shruti Gita. Upanishad dane. Our Bhagavad Gita is Upanishad. Bhagavan speaks from Upanishad. Lot of things from Kathopanishad. Apdiye vartaigal. Exact same words Bhagavan uses. Bhagavanum pramanama parva. Kathopanishad is Bhagavan's intelligence. And Bhagavad Gita is Bhagavan's vak. Vak will come from intelligence only. Nyatva Shastra Vidhana Uktam. Understanding what Shastras say, you actually follow it. Only then you will get Siddhi. Why? Why? Because Bhagavan says, even though I am sitting in the hearts of everybody, I also give them the path in form of Shastras to follow. And I am the one who gave the Shastras. I know the Shastras. I also encourage people to follow Shastras. How important. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanancha vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyo vedanta krit vedavit eva chaham. Vedanta krit, Vedanta kurtad nandamba. I gave Vedanta to you. I know what is there in Vedanta. The end of Vedanta is also me. So the means is what I gave you. End is me, myself. So follow Vedas. And then once it is very clear, then what happens is, oh, I'll follow Vedas. Then Swamiji is saying, now that you are clear, this is the Pramanam. Veda Mata will talk Triguna. It will talk about all the 3 things. Traigunya Vishayaha Vedantrikuba. You have to pick that path which suits you and suits the current time.